Hey everyone, and welcome to 121 Movie News. I am Peter, and that is Connor, and we talk about box office, we talk about movies in development, and we do other things and shenanigans. So one of the things that we do sometimes, or we had been doing for a while, was a show called Trailer Talk, because originally we had trailers in the movie news, but it was such a big section of the movie news that we separated into its own show. And then recently we've had a hard time actually fitting that in. So what we're doing now is that I'm going to do Trailer Talk live in the weekly streams on the YouTube channel, which is Mondays at 8 PM UK, 3 PM Eastern, and noon Pacific. That'll be a live thing now, where people can submit trailers. Obviously, there'll be some that I'll be wanting to do anyway, but people can submit the trailers. I'll watch them there and then. We'll talk about them live with the chat, and that'll be fun. The downside is that Connor's not there. The upside is that it means that we don't have to worry about squeezing in the episode. It means there's some interaction with you guys, and you might also suggest trailers that I would never have found had I just been looking for them myself. So that's what's going to happen. Also, the late night stream, which is usually on a Tuesday or Wednesday, might also have some of it as well. It's not exclusive to one stream. It'll be spread out between the two of them. So by all means, check out those streams when they pop up. But it does mean that we might sometimes talk about a really big trailer on this show as well. If we think, one's big enough that we should probably give that some time and talk about it. So anyway, we start off with the box office, and because we do this show every other week, we guess for 2 weeks in advance, and then we see how we did. And we'll have a look-see. So starting looking at the weekend of March 29th to the 31st, that was last weekend, we did make guesses for both Dumbo and Us. It was Uzz's second week. Uzz's, you know what I mean? It was Us second week. What's the plural of Us? There is no plural because no one ever says.
Yes, I don't think there is one.
Well, it's not a plural, it's the possessive of Us.
Again, you wouldn't, because possessive you would switch to ours.
But no, it's a title, so
yes.
There has to be a possessive. Doesn't matter. Anyway, so we did make guesses for these two. Dumbo, you guessed 43.5 million. I guessed...
I lowballed it.
42 million. It was number one. It came in at 45.9 million.
Oh, okay.
So we're in the ballpark. You obviously narrowed that one out.
Yeah.
So that's fine.
Hey, you say I narrowed it out. I put in my guess, and you were a dick and went just below.
Prove it. Number two was Us in its second weekend, and you guessed 28 million. I guessed 30.
Okay.
It came in at 33.2 million.
Okay.
So I take that point. That's a good hold. That's a great hold actually for its second weekend.
And in terms of our guesses, that's the closest we've been in a while.
Yeah, that was actually pretty good.
We're kind of in the area for both of those.
So number 3 was Captain Marvel with 20.6 million. Number 4 was Unplanned, 6.3 million. That was Unplanned was the abortion or the anti-abortion propaganda religious movie for anyone curious.
I was not familiar with it. I was quite happy not being familiar with it, to be honest with you.
Yes, it's a little bit sad that it still made 6.3 million. Just putting that out there. Number 5 was 5 Feet Apart with 6.1 million. Number 6 was Wonder Park with 5 million. Number 7 was How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World with 4.3 million. Number 8 was Hotel Mumbai with 3.1 million. Number 9 was Tyler Perry's A Medea Family Funeral with 2.6 million. And number 10 was The Beach Bum with 1.7 million. So that was that weekend. Which takes us on to the current weekend that we just wrapped up. It is worth mentioning we're recording this early on Monday when we usually record this Sunday night, so these figures may actually be more accurate than they normally are. I don't know.
Yeah.
But so of course what we guessed for this past weekend was Shazam and Pet Sematary, the two big new releases, big horror movie release, big superhero release. Obviously that's what we're going to do. So for Shazam, you guessed 52 million.
Yes, of course. This is the first time I've ever remembered what I guessed, because I went with 52 because DC.
I guessed 55 million.
You might have scraped this one.
I don't know if I did. This is really close.
Oh shit! I've not actually seen the number.
I need to think about this.
Give us the answer first, and then we'll work it out.
It's 53.5.
Is it bang in the middle?
I hate to admit it, but it's actually 53,450, or sorry, 53,450,000, which means technically it's just.
So they've rounded up to 0.5, but for our purposes,
Yes, you just win.
I just won.
You prick.
I'll take that.
I think those were good guesses, though. The fact that we were just either side of it in the same amount is
between us. We got bang on.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, if you take the average guess between us, we were bang on. Number 2 was Pet Sematary, of course. You guessed 32 million. I guessed 27. It came in at 25 million, so I took that point.
Yeah.
So 2 points each for this round of guesses.
It's frustrating, isn't it?
I guess it is.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, just for the record, if you're curious for our reviews, my and Tim's reviews of Pet Sematary is already up from Streams After Midnight, our horror movie podcast. You can go check that out. The Shazam review will be up with myself and Matt very soon.
If not already,
depending on when this news goes up. Because I don't know if I'm going to have time to edit and put this news up before I record that Shazam review tonight. And if I record the Shazam review tonight and this is not already up, there's no way I'm prioritising this over Shazam. So
yeah, exactly.
But we'll see what happens. So that was Pet Sematary at number 2 with 25 million. Number 3 was Dumbo with 18 million. Number 4 was Us with 13.8. Number 5 was Captain Marvel with 12.6 million. 6 was The Best of Enemies with 4.5. Number 7 was 5 Feet Apart. 8 was Unplanned. 9 was Wonder Park. 10 was How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World. And I stopped saying the figures because it was just 4 through 1 million for the back 5.
Yeah, uninteresting.
Yes. So we should mention Captain Marvel's worldwide total is crossed 1 billion. It is now the 7th Marvel film in the MCU to cross 1 billion.
It was a good investment for Disney, that, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. 1.03 billion. It's just crossed the Dark Knight in terms of figures.
Yeah, it's fine. Adjust it for inflation.
That's also has 3D, which Dark Knight never had.
Oh, I didn't realize it had 3D. I mean, of course, it has 3D.
They all have 3D now.
Yeah, it was just...
Even though no one likes it, they all have 3D.
Of course they do. Yeah.
So yeah, what about Us worldwide? That's probably an interesting one to check now. 216 million. Hey, for a horror movie that cost 20 million to make, that ain't too shabby.
No, they'll be happy with that.
They will be happy with that. So there you go. That's the box office.
Have we got much interesting in the next couple of weeks to guess for?
We do actually. So we have 2 weeks to guess for.
I guess we do Shazam week 2.
Yeah. So this coming weekend we have Hellboy coming out.
Is that already?
Yeah.
Well, that snuck up on me.
Got Hellboy. Then we have an animated movie called Missing Link, which is opening 35.
Oh, that's the new Leica Studios one.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. I'm looking forward to that one.
I mean, we can guess for that, I suppose. We can get. I think Shazam Week 2 is probably an interesting one as well.
Yeah.
So we'll do Shazam, Hellboy, and Missing Link. So, what are you guessing for Hellboy? How much do you think it's bombing? That's the question.
I don't think it outright bombs, but I don't think it does fantastic.
I think it does less than Shazam for sure.
I agree. I was gonna give Shazam a higher thing than this, even in its second. I'm gonna say 24.
I can see this going either way. I can see this like scraping up to 30-ish.
Yeah, I was in the 24 to 28 range was where I was going. I probably should have gone 26 really, but I mean, screw it.
But I'm going to go for the cynicism.
You're being a cynical bastard. You're channeling me.
I'm saying 19.
Oh, that's damning. And that was a big enough thing away from mine that it wasn't even just below me. That was a stake in the. Oh no, this is doing shit.
Missing Link. I have no idea what to expect from that. Probably muted.
I disagree. I think it does pretty well. The marketing, but this is the from the studio. The last thing they did was Kubo and the Two Strings, which was pretty well regarded. So I think, and it looks quite, charming. I think it does all right. I think it does a solid. I think it comes in above Hellboy. Frankly, I think it does 28.
Okay.
Hope it comes in above Hellboy.
15.
Okay.
I don't know. I've never heard about it. I feel like this is.
I've been seeing trailers for this for months. To be fair,
I didn't even know what it was until you told me. So I'll go with 15. Shazam Week 2 though.
33.
Oh.
And it still takes the top spot.
I'm hoping you're right. I'm going to say 32.
I think it's had good word of mouth.
32.
32. Oh, you're doing that game, are you?
I'm being strategic. I've taken some ballsy moves in the other two. I need to be strategic with one of them.
Yeah,
so that's this coming week. The week after, we really only have one thing to guess for, and that is The Curse of La Llorona, the horror movie, which is apparently in the Conjuring universe.
Which they're not marketing as a Conjuring thing, though, right? I haven't seen any marketing tying it to Conjuring.
Yeah. Well, it's worth mentioning, though, the first trailer we got of it, I mentioned how a character in it looked like the same character from Annabelle.
You did, yeah.
Long before they ever confirmed it was in the same universe, and I said that was weird. So, this will annoyingly probably do okay.
I don't know, because none of the marketing has had Conjuring attached to it.
I'm going to say 20.
I think you're overshooting. I think it does about 14.
All right.
I'm not saying much for it.
All right. There you go. That's a guess he's in for the next 2 weekends of box office, and we'll.
Just before we go any further, I've just noticed you've got the wrong Twitters on. Can you fix that for me? Because that's going to bug the hell out of me.
I can't because it's not a separate thing. It's baked into the image. So, do you know what's just funny? Someone pointed that out last news and I forgot about it.
You're an awful person.
Ignore that Twitter.
Just put some like your hand over your screen wherever it says that.
Can I add a little black box to like just censor it?
Just to yeah.
Just to censor it.
I am not comfortable with Matt getting all the credit for my fantastic witticisms. Would hate people to go over to his Twitter and be disappointed.
I don't have like just a black image though. I can.
Unacceptable.
I could put over the top of it. Actually, I've got an idea.
I can't believe you made this overlay for our stuff and left someone else's Twitter. This is unacceptable.
Hold on, copy.
This is disgraceful. I like how you do stop the record to fix this.
No. This is part of the show. Don't you worry.
He's clicking around in the menus trying to figure this out.
I am.
And,
where did that copy go?
It's not really happening right now.
Where did that copy go? Oh, it's up the top. That's fine. It's fine. That's fine.
A thing's going to get a bit messy on the screen for a second.
There. Wait, did I copy Influx and not news?
Oh, for God's sake! This is.
Wait, what's happening here? Why is it not even appearing? What's going on? What's going on? Let's get rid of that. Right.
This got even more unprofessional than usual.
Copy. We'll fix this, folks. We'll fix this. Paste reference.
I feel bad for any audio listeners who this didn't affect in the first place anyway.
Joe's funny.
Blame Peter's ineptitude.
I think it's not letting me actually manipulate it as much because we're actually not in the middle of a recording. So, you know what? You can deal with it.
God damn it. Unacceptable.
People are going to be tweeting angry things at Matt based on what you say.
Please do, people.
In all the Twitter. Alright, on to the actual news then. Enough of this shenanigans. We've got things to do. Comic book movie news. First up, Suicide Squad 2. A couple of things for that. First of all, Idris Elba is going to be in the movie. However, he is now playing a new character. I mean, I say new, I don't mean like a new created character. Just new in the sense that he's not Deadshot. And Deadshot will not appear in the film now.
This makes much more sense
Mm-hmm.
to do this because from what we know, with the reason Will Smith wasn't returning was scheduling conflicts. It wasn't creative differences. It's not like he's going, "Oh no, I never want to do that again." Because he always talked fairly positively about it when the film was coming out. This leaves it open that, hey, we can have Will Smith back at some point in the future. Because I don't think it's safe to say he's one of the better parts of that movie.
It's just weird that they announced that he was replacing Will Smith and said, you know what, no, he's going to still be in the movie, but it's a different character. It makes it feel like they cared more about getting Idris Elba than they did about like the character itself, which
yeah,
I'm not saying it's a bad thing, it's just weird.
I don't know who he's playing. Maybe Bronze Tiger.
That's just a random guess.
Yeah, maybe. I'm just thinking in Suicide Squad people, members in the past who would make sense for Idris Elba to be playing. I mean, and to fill that same sort of role as Deadshot, as being somewhat sympathetic.
Okay. Yeah, maybe we'll see. But and then the other bit of news was that Viola Davis is coming back as the Wall, as Amanda Waller.
Again, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, she wasn't a problem with the first movie by any means.
Yeah.
So. Also, I think Jai Courtney made a tweet or something about coming back as Boomerang. Sure,
he did, and we had a bit of a debate as to whether or not he died in the last film because we didn't know. We couldn't remember.
I was convinced he died in the first movie, and then it turned out that. And then when other people questioned it, none of us were actually like sure enough to argue if he did or he didn't. And then someone actually went back and checked the movie, and it turned out he didn't. But for some reason, I was convinced he died.
Yeah, I think they said only one person in the Suicide, not counting Slipknot joke one at the start. Only one person from the squad died.
False advertising.
Which yeah, I mean, what's the point?
Yeah, so that's moving along, and I mean, remember, James Gunn's writing and directing, so there's some reason to be interested. But I mean,
there is more so than most of the other films.
What a crazy ride of news we've had with this one. Next up, some stuff for Black Widow. We've got some casting here. One which is confirmed, which is David Harbour from Stranger Things and the newly almost going to certainly bomb Hellboy, along with Rachel Weisz, who's in talks. So he's been cast, she's in talks. The characters have been kept secretive, under wraps.
Yeah, sure. I like both of them.
Yeah, they're both solid. So can't complain. And speaking of Marvel, here's an interesting one. So they're doing an Eternals movie, right? That's one of the films that has been kind of ramping up for Phase 4. Is the Eternals?
Is that official now?
It's official in the sense that they're casting and
right. Okay.
Doing things like that. So they've confirmed that. Casting's not happened here yet, but in talks again, which means it's probably going to happen, is Kumail Nanjiani is going to be in the Eternals.
Okay. I like him.
I like him too. It's kind of funny after The Big Sick, all of a sudden he's getting all this work as an actor.
Yeah.
That's interesting to me. So the Eternals, which debuted in 1976, is about a near-immortal set of beings called the Eternals. That felt redundant. You didn't have to tell me that we're called that.
It did a little bit, didn't it?
And they're more gargantuan antagonists, the Deviants, who were created by the cosmic beings called Celestials. The Celestials experimented on humans, creating both races of immortal spin-offs. They're spin-offs of human beings. That's a weird way of putting it, but okay. So yeah, Eternals is a thing, and I know nothing about the Eternals. This is like such a weird, wacky Marvel property that's just kind of...
it's uncharted territory for us. That's for sure.
So yeah, there you go. That's the comic book news though. That was the gist of that stuff. Which will take us on to the sort of general blockbuster stuff. Dave Bautista is being cast in Army of the Dead, which is a Netflix movie with a $70 million budget, directed by Connor's favorite director, Zack Snyder.
How dare you?
Sorry, second favorite director.
Who's the first?
I don't know. I was hoping I would think of something that was funny before you asked. I didn't get one. Tarantino's your favorite.
How dare you? Well, that one's objectively less insulting, but on a personal level, how dare you?
You must admit Tarantino's better than Zack Snyder. Come on now.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, you better. You bloody better.
Yeah, I don't want to watch his films, but he's better objectively. There's no question about that.
Good. This is as long as we're on on par with that. So
yeah.
Yeah, scripted by Shea Hatton and Snyder, the adventure is set amid a zombie outbreak in Las Vegas, during which a man assembles a group of mercenaries to take the ultimate gamble, venturing into the quarantine zone to pull off the greatest heist ever attempted. Do you know what I hate about this? Is I actually like the premise.
Yeah, but it'll look like a Zack Snyder film.
But it'll look like a Zack Snyder... Because the idea that there's like, okay, this city's been cordoned off, it's like Raccoon City from Resident Evil, it's been completely abandoned, zombies everywhere, but there's a lot of money in there. So a team says, hey, we could go in and just take all the money because it's been abandoned. Yeah. I like that idea, but it's a Zack Snyder movie, so I'm probably going to hate it with every fibre of my being.
We should definitely review this one.
Well, this is, Tim one. This is a horror movie.
Is it outright horror?
Well, it's zombies, so...
Yeah, but it's Zack Snyder, so I'm assuming it's actually just an action movie with zombies.
I'm assuming it's going to be an ugly movie with zombies.
Well, yeah.
That's my guess. Next up, look at that. Camille Nanjiani is attached to lead in a film called Any Person, Living or Dead. It's an adaptation of Simon Ritchie's short story that was picked up by Legendary Entertainment. The story follows a brilliant reclusive scientist who, using his homemade time machine, gathers a round table of the greatest minds in history: Shakespeare, George Washington, Aristotle, etc. etc.
I was waiting for the "and someone really shit."
And Phil from Kentucky from the 60s.
Yeah.
To solve all of humanity's problems. Unfortunately, his plan fails to take into account the language barriers, ancient racism, and the tendency of medieval men to commit murder. Instead of learning from these great men of history, our hero has no choice but to hunt them down and blast them into the past before they can ruin our future.
Oh, this sounds fantastic.
It sounds alright.
I'm into this.
Little Bill and Ted, but with Camille Nanjiani instead, which means it's probably going to be better. I'm sorry, Bill and Ted fans, but...
Oh, those were fighting words.
Bill and Ted's not aged that well. I mean, if I grew up watching it, maybe I'd love it, but watching it for the first time last year, it was okay.
Now, this is the point where if I was really Matt, as the Twitter would suggest, you'd be in for a proper fight.
I love how you never noticed it in the last episode, though, because someone pointed it out.
I was probably tired in the last episode. Do you know how often I bother to look at the screen when you're talking?
Next up, Noah Hawley's 26 Keys is set a feature with Matthew Baker, the author who set Hollywood on fire with short stories that have sparked major bidding wars over the past few years. They will team on Lost Souls, a feature film which is set at Fox Searchlight, and they're also teaming on a TV show. And I'm going to criticise news sites here because this never popped up when I was looking for TV news the other day because it's in a movie story.
God damn them.
So I'm not taking the blame for this one. So that's an FX pilot they're working on called Why Visit America. So they're both based on Baker's short stories. Lost Souls is set in a world in which some babies are born without a soul.
Sure, I'm in. Are they all ginger? I'm waiting for it. Go on.
I'm recording a podcast with one of these babies right now. What are you talking about?
This isn't science fiction.
This is basically a documentary. What are you talking about? A young expectant mother is sent to an unusual wellness centre in the desert with the hopes that it will improve her chances of delivering a healthy baby with a soul. So basically, she goes to a desert in the hopes that it'll mean she doesn't have a ginger child.
That makes sense, because we gingers fear the desert.
Because sunlight burns you. You're basically vampires.
Exactly.
And the TV show, I might as well mention it, Why Visit America, feeling the country has lost its way, the population of a tiny Texas town decide to secede. When the outside world fails to take notice, they use their new freedoms to redefine their lives and relationships.
Sounds really generic. After the initial premise sounds like, oh, this is going to be interesting. And then by the end, I went, okay, it sounds like quite a generic show. It depends
how hands-on Noah Hawley is. If he's really into it, it might be good.
It could be, yeah.
So next up, Denzel Washington is in early talks with Frances McDormand in a screen adaptation of Macbeth, which will be directed by Joel Coen. And this is A24 who's putting this out.
I want to be really into this.
But
I mean, I'm 50-50 on Coen, so...
The Shakespeare classic was first turned into a film by Orson Welles in 1948, and numerous adaptations have since followed. The storyline is that a Scottish lord becomes convinced by a trio of witches that he is destined to become King of Scotland. With the help of his ambitious wife, he does what he has to with the goal of seizing the crown. I'm glad I put that because I didn't know what the plot of Macbeth was.
Did you not?
I knew there was 3 witches. That was it. That's all I knew about Macbeth.
No, it's my favorite Macbeth, and there's at least 3 film versions.
Macbeth is your favorite Macbeth?
Sorry, I always say it's my favorite Shakespeare.
That stands to reason.
There's at least 3 film versions that I love.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, I could go for another one as long as it's good. It's got a lot of the last one was visually spectacular.
That was the Fassbender one.
It was, yeah. It was a feast for the eyes, if nothing else.
Next up, Entertainment One has won the high concept sci-fi spec script Out There. David Bruckner is attached to direct the spec by exec turned Tyro screenwriter Ian Levi. The genre thriller is said to be akin to The Mist and deals with a mysterious event that changes the course of the world. One family struggles to survive. That sounds like it. I might be into it, but that description intentionally makes it as hard as possible to know what it is beyond just.
Yeah, the description makes it sound pretty generic.
But I think they're just playing it close to the chest right now.
I think they are as well, yeah.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
That'll actually take us into horror movie news. So
not a huge week then.
Not a huge week for interesting movie news. Although this first one, the horror section, is pretty interesting. The voice of the new Chucky in the Child's Play remake.
Yeah, so obviously we already had a trailer for that, and they were hiding the voice
because they've not recorded any yet.
Because they hadn't recorded it yet, yeah. Which I think we said at the time.
So Mark Hamill is going to be the new Chucky, which is one of the only interesting options they could have ever picked, because Brad Dourif as Chucky is such an iconic thing. It just
I've not even seen a full Chucky movie, and I can hear the voice perfectly in my head right now.
Yeah, you can hear what it sounds like because it's iconic.
Yeah,
but of course Mark Hamill voiced the Joker, and he's done some fantastic voice work in the past. Now I'm expecting it to end up sounding like he's Joker, but I'm definitely curious.
I would see it more in that ballpark for sure. Yeah.
But I'm definitely curious now. I'm still more looking forward to the TV show, which is by the original creator, set in the movie, the original movie's continuity. But I have to admit, there's a curiosity to this.
That was, at the very least, that was a strong casting choice.
Yeah. So
it might still be a bad movie, or even if it's a decent movie, you might still be going, well, I wish this was just part of the, I'd rather just have proper Chucky.
I hope, because Aubrey Plaza is playing the mum. Which
yes.
It doesn't feel weird at all. But she's playing the mom, and I really hope she does play it just like April Ludgate. I hope she's just as deadpan with this child.
That would be amazing.
And I hope the camera still does the zoom in. The documentary zoom in every time she.
I'm
gets
just thinking deadpan Aubrey Plaza and a Joker-esque Mark Hamill. That would make for a fantastic movie.
That sounds good. I'm into it as an idea.
Yeah.
So, next up, Ilana Glazer has found her next project. She will co-write a film titled False Positive, in which she stars along with Justin Theroux and Pierce Brosnan. What an interesting cast. So, yeah, it's A24. Plot details have been kept under wraps, but I thought the cast was interesting enough here to mention this exists.
Yes.
So, yeah, False Positive.
Sure.
And then next up, we have, and last up, in fact, Blumhouse and Columbia Pictures have officially announced...
Sorry, before you move on, why was that last one in the horror section?
It's a horror film.
Are they outright just saying it's a horror film?
Oh yeah, it's a horror film she co-wrote, yeah.
Okay. So you obviously you mentioned that there was no details really on it, cast, and I was like...
No, it does say horror film.
Okay.
But we got Justin Theroux, Pierce Brosnan, A24. Ilana Glazer, I'm not familiar with that much, but she co-wrote it and she's directing it. No, she co-wrote it and she's starring in it. And then John Lee, who co-wrote it with her, is directing. Just to get get the facts as they are.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, final bit of news then. Blumhouse and Columbia Pictures have officially announced that Zoe Lister-Jones is going to write and direct the new remake of The Craft. Did you ever see The Craft, Connor?
Can't say I did. Should I have?
Nah, you're fine. Your life's not incomplete because you didn't see The Craft, don't worry. The original 1996 movie, which starred Robin Tunney, Faiza Belk, Neve Campbell, Christine Taylor, Rachel True, and Skeet Ulrich. Well, he was in that as well. I don't remember him being in that. That's funny, because Neve Campbell and him obviously were screamed together. I don't remember him being in that movie. Oh, I only saw it once, though, so it wasn't that memorable. So it followed a newcomer at a Catholic prep high school who falls in with a trio of outcast teenage girls who practice witchcraft and wage curses against those who tick them off. So, yeah.
Man, why wasn't my Catholic school more like that? Sounds way more interesting.
Lista Jones wrote, executive produced, and starred in Fox Searchlight film Lola Versi. She also co-wrote, produced, and starred in indie comedy Breaking Upwards, and she wrote and directed the independent feature Band-Aid. I have never heard of any of these things, but it's listing me a bunch of things she's done, so she seems to have built a little career.
Sure.
Maybe she's great. Maybe I'd love her stuff. I have no idea.
Yeah. It's hard to say when you haven't got that context, isn't it?
But it's just funny that they list 3 different things off. These are our accolades and why we should care. And I'm like, oh, I've never heard of any of these things.
Yeah.
But maybe they're all great. I don't know.
That could be on us.
Yeah. So The Craft is a thing. I wasn't that fond of the original movie. I wonder if I saw it as a teenager, it might have done more for me because I'd have been a more angsty and, like 4 goth witches causing chaos might have been more entertaining at the time, but
probably.
But in my mid-late 20s when I saw it, and I was just kind of like,
Yeah,
it's okay.
I guess
it's very 90s is shit.
Oh, really?
So there you go. That was the news, which actually ended up in a much quicker show than I thought it would even be.
Just little tidbit, update. Obviously, the Disney buyout went through of Fox. Which I think we spoke about last time. They did confirm at an event this week that they are planning on, I think it was to shareholders, they are planning on making more Alien movies.
I am both.
Which isn't a huge surprise, but
hey, just hire that high school that did the play. They did a good job.
I did not see this.
Did you not see this? Did you see this? A high school in the US did a play of Alien. They had a costume. They had the teenagers playing Ripley and all the characters from Alien. And Ridley Scott saw footage of it and says, "That was great. Do Gladiator next."
No, that's cool. No, I don't think it's a huge surprise though that they're going to do more of those movies. But
I'm both terrified and excited at the same time because at least now it's away from it's in new hands. Maybe there'll be a different.
Maybe they'll look at it more objectively and go, "Do you know what, Ridley Scott, go away."
I don't know. There was a weird comment from James Cameron actually a few months ago. I don't know what he was being. It was on a red carpet somewhere. They always ask him about things, and someone said, "Oh, what about Neil Blomkamp's sequel to Aliens? What did you think about that?" And his response was really, because obviously for us it's been dead for ages, and his response was like, "Oh yeah, that's something we've been talking about." And I'm like, "Wait, what?"
Maybe Disney are looking at, because obviously it was Fox that it was from the studio that put that down eventually, because Blomkamp always said he wanted to carry on working with it.
Yeah, so I mean, we'll see.
Maybe there was some unofficial talks going on of, okay, once this has gone through.
I'll tell you this: if his RoboCop sequel comes out and kills, I feel like they're probably going to be like, "Hey, maybe that him doing an Alien sequel is a good idea."
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
But we'll see how that does. If James Cameron's on board for it, though, he can convince executives to do whatever he wants, basically.
That's because he has the golden touch when it comes to box office.
I am so fascinated by how Avatar 2 is going to do. I always expected to do as well, but I said that about Avatar 1, before that, because before Avatar 1 came, I said, "Oh, this will do pretty well, but there's no way it's going to do Titanic numbers." And then it smashed the record. It smashed Titanic's total.
I know, but the cynic in me says no matter what, it's going to underperform expectations that Disney have.
Sure.
Because as a general rule of thumb, sequels outperform their predecessor.
I wonder how successful it has to be.
I don't think this one does.
I wonder how successful it has to be to ensure 4 and 5, because they're doing 2 and 3 together. Because as much as they still have to do a lot of work in 4 and 5 because they're not finishing it before 2 and 3, and it kind of depends on.
2 and 3 are relatively risk-free for Disney.
Yeah, but the other thing is, though, is they've done a lot of work for 4 and 5, though, because they did all the pre-production for all 4 of them. So
yeah, so it's how much money does it? How much of it have they still got to put into it to make it worthwhile?
Yeah, but I don't think it's the full amounts, though. I think it's like whatever the fraction is. Like
yeah, exactly. But it depending on how these perform, is it still worth it? Maybe. Do you know what? I'm going to go out on a limb and say yes, because they have the stuff in the theme parks.
Yeah, I will actually. I would say pretty confidently right now that I think Avatar 2 and 3 will be better than the first one, and I say that.
You mean better movies, better box office?
Yeah, not better box office. I mean, I wouldn't count it out. I'll say that. Okay. I don't think it's going to do better, but I wouldn't say it's impossible because Cameron has that touch.
Yeah.
But if I was to make an educated guess, partly because James Cameron's made 2 of the best sequels of all time. That's part of the reason for it.
That's fair.
And one of the things that, of course, he did with Aliens is that he just went and said, okay, this one's an action movie. And it was like, that was a genius idea. He just like shook it all up. And I feel like the first one was intentionally kind of this just traditional story to set up what the world was.
No. Generic story, not traditional, generic.
Sure, generic, whatever. Same difference.
Let's be fair.
Same difference. The point is, though, is that the world's set up. I feel like the second one's where he's probably going to go nuts with whatever his loftier goals are with the movies. Because we know he's doing underwater stuff, and he loves the underwater.
Of course he is.
He does. A nice Blu-ray remaster of The Abyss to go along with Avatar 2 would be lovely, Mr. Jim.
I'd love to be able to watch it.
Oh, it better happen. I just take 2 days off from Avatar 2 through 5, and just approve the goddamn HD transfer, you prick. I want it so badly. And True Lies as well while we're at it, but. That at least is an anamorphic DVD.
It's watchable.
It's watchable at least, yes, if not ideal. Yeah. We're getting to the point now where Blu-rays that got remasters years ago are getting 4K remasters now, and The Abyss is still sitting there waiting for 1080p.
It's not even acceptable to watch on DVD, let alone 1080p.
I know. Damn it, Cameron, do it. But yeah. There we go. That's this week's movie news. So this is every other week. So we'll see you in 2 weeks' time. But that's it. So I think we have stuff to promote. I mean, I mentioned the Shazam review's coming up, or is already up. The Pet Sematary review's already up from Screams After Midnight. So go check out those. There is a planned Hellboy review.
Because no force on earth will hold Tim back from that.
I know. I'm confirming that everyone's up for reviewing it, though, before I actually make plans to go see it. Because I'll be honest, I'm not that...
It doesn't matter. Tim's up for seeing it. You'll do it with Tim no matter what.
I suppose that's true. Because I'm not necessarily that excited about going to see it, if I'm honest. But we'll see how it goes. So look out for that. What else is coming up? We'll have an influx. I mean, I telling you'll be getting up publicly this week for everyone.
I think we're hopefully in the next 2 weeks or so, to get the new DC animated movie done.
Yes, we're hoping we're going to get that done. Usually we get that to them much quicker, but we've been very busy with TV stuff.
Yeah.
And it's worth mentioning, actually, there's a new movie podcast starting in the next couple of weeks. It's called The Ace, the Atomic Cinema Experiment. It is a sci-fi movie podcast with myself and Tara, and that'll be up for patrons this coming week on, I think it's the 11th, and then for everyone else it'll be starting on the 18th on the publics, on the YouTube and the public audio podcast feed. So look out for that. Like the sci-fi movies on there. It's basically Screams After Midnight, but sci-fi. That's the pitch.
Yeah.
So check it out. But yeah. Otherwise, let us know what you thought of the news in the comments below. Like and subscribe, all that stuff. Guys on the Twitters at mail_fuzz for channel updates. If you want to support the show and the channel and everything that we do here, head over to patreon.com/mailfuzztv. We can support us for as little as $1 per month. You get some bonuses, you get some exclusives, you get some stuff early. But otherwise, that is us. So thank you once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching movies, guys. And if you can get it, it's always nice to have diplomatic immunity.